believe and living life fully alive. Welcome to Monday Morning Magic. Good morning, CEOs, co-creators of extraordinary outcomes. Welcome to Monday Morning Magic. You know what time it is. It is 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, coming to you live, this live broadcast. Again, I want to welcome everybody to the Monday Morning Magic. Let me catch my breath here. I'm so excited to be here. I am so excited to be here. I want to just make sure my ticker is on. Show the ticker so we can have some information going while I'm speaking. Again, welcome CEOs, co-creators of Extraordinary Outcomes. My name is Coach B. I have a wonderful topic for you this morning. Let me bring that up. Overestimating time. It is costly. What I would like to do is follow our format, right? We're building in a format as we're going, uh, so that people can become accustomed to what to expect. So let me move forward. So let me say, how is everyone doing out there in YouTube land, Facebook land? How is everybody doing? How was your weekend? How was your week? I had an awesome weekend. I had an opportunity to talk to a young lady that I hadn't seen in a while. We had the opportunity to catch up, had a chance to attend some spiritual meetings this weekend, which was really good because it's essential to my self-care, which is really important when I think about the work that I'm doing and what I want it to look like. It's really important for me to pour into myself first so that I can pour into other people. So my weekend was really good. It was really, really good. It was peaceful, it was restful, it was productive. The second thing I want to say is that we are live and Facebook and on YouTube. And I know some of you catch this on a replay. So I want to say thank you to all the people that catch this on a replay. Thank you to all my subscribers, new subscribers, potential subscribers. Let me thank you in advance. If you're trying to subscribe and you want to catch me on YouTube, my channel or handle is Coach B, the CEO, which you see right there on the screen. You will be able to locate me. Uh, Again, feel free to subscribe, like, share, leave a comment. By the end of the summer, what we hope to have is at least at minimum is 100 subscribers. So if you can help me reach that goal, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you come in, there is a link in YouTube, Facebook. It's a StreamYard link. And what it does, if you hit the link, it allows you to allow your Facebook or your YouTube to be present. And if you leave a comment in the chat, we'll be able to pull it up and it'll look like this, except for it will have your name instead of Coach B, and it will have your comment instead of Welcome CEO. So we want to have this to be engaging. So jump on in and engage. Again, that link is in the description on Facebook and YouTube. So I want to take this down now, this comment thing, and I want to take the comment thing down so that we can have better visuals with the PowerPoint. Again, today's topic is overestimating time. It's costly. It's costly. Let's take a look at upcoming events. So we have the Let's Get It Done. This is for you is the theme. Saturday, July 15, 2023 from 9 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This will be live in person event. And the registration we thought would open up on April 15th, but instead it will open up on April 19th, 2020. I put 22. Wow. Just noticed that. I need to make that correction. This is April 19th, 2023. it will open up. And the reason for the pushback or the delay on the date, I revamped my website last week, and there were some glitches that came along the way. I was told when I was integrating new software, new platforms, that this would only take X, Y, and Z time. So I thought I would be able to meet my April 15th timeline, which brings me to today's subject, right? Underestimating and overestimating time is costly. Sometimes we're doing business with people, or we're engaging or interacting with people who have a time frame when something can be done, and you have a time frame when something that can be done. And what can happen is there can be a delay on your end, there could be a delay on their end. And what it does, it offsets everything else, right? So change begets change. And so what happened for me last week, I'm like, I want to integrate my platform. I want to make it more user friendly. I want different things to happen, different things to appear on my website so that I can have better functionality and that it can be more user friendly. And as I said, I was told one thing, I was so excited about it, blah, blah, blah. And then after these platforms were installed, my website was down. There were a lot of glitches that were happening. And I worked tirelessly to get everything back on track with the company who was responsible for changing the platforms. And so it set back everything else. However, that's when that's on somebody else. Have you ever underestimated your time? Have you ever said to yourself, well, this will only take a few minutes to do, only to find out that 5 minutes turned into 2 hours? And there wasn't enough buffer space in between that thing and the next thing that you had to do. And you found yourself trying to do two things at one time, creating confusion and stress and feeling overwhelmed because this one thing that you have to do is really important, and it's taking more time than you realize. There was an underestimation going on with your skills, your talents, or your ability, or whatever external factors. And so there was no buffer space for when those things happen. So when we're underestimating, it means that estimating is something to be smaller or less important than it actually is. So I'm thinking, oh, I'll get this thing done. They gave me a time frame, a minimum, a max. I'll have it done. Didn't have the buffer space. What if it doesn't go according to plan? Then what? What do I do? So a lot of us have experienced this, like I said, when it comes to external factors that where we have no control over. But then there's areas in our life that we do have control over, that we underestimate our time. For instance, for those that travel, whether they use the subway or they commute, Long Island Railroad, what have you, travel by plane, airplane, whatever the transportation is, and you think, well, I'm gonna book this flight because this is going to get me here by this time. And then suddenly you're in the airport and they go, we have delays, we are going to be held over, this is not going to happen. And then you don't reach your destination as planned, but then there's no buffer space in order to make that happen. You're not responsible for the airlines. There's nothing that you could do about their delay. Of course, you could call people up, be responsible, and be accountable and say, hey, I'm having some delays. The airport, has some delays, so therefore I'm delayed, and you stay in communications. But I'm talking about something a little different. I'm talking about our personal development. When we have a project, and we underestimate what it will take to get it done. Again, I think 5, 10, 15 minutes, hey, it's going to get done. And then a glitch happens and it doesn't get done. And yet you have something else on your plate that cannot get done. Is that a habit? And the reason why I ask, is that a habit? Because I've worked with people, talk with people, family, friends, neighbors, acquaintances, talk to people. And some people operate from a place of, I'll do it later. I'll cross that bridge when the time comes. Some people even give it a word, procrastination. And some people, not everybody, some people, their backs have to be up against the wall. They're down to the last minute before they do the thing that is required. And so the question is, what is that costing you? Is it costing you stress? Is it creating negative feelings? Is it creating intensity where you have to now rush opposed to going at it at ease because you're not giving yourself buffer space or what we call a runway to get that thing done? Do you naturally or do you have a high propensity to work under that guise? Wait until the last minute, put things off, put things off, put things off, with the thinking that I can get it done. It won't take no time to do. And then on the opposite end, do you overestimate? Do you overestimate that this thing is bigger than what it has to be, than what it is? And what do I mean by overestimating time? So some people want to wait to the last minute. They underestimate the time. They get right up to the breaking point. They get right up to the deadline, and then they're operating at warp speed. Then other people on the extreme end of that, they overestimate time, and the things that don't have that much importance or relevance, they give it way more relevance than it needs. So an example, something that's not a priority, you make it a priority. It's not a priority, but it's made a priority. And the thing that's made a priority is pushed back on the list. So when we underestimate the thing that's important, waiting to the last minute to get it done, realize, hey, I don't have enough time, or now I'm working under stress, intensity. And then the thing that is important, then the thing that is important, sorry, yeah, then the thing that is important, it doesn't have the same relevance. It's not on the top of the list because you're giving attention to the small things, to the things that are insignificant. I'll give you an example of that. You have 2 or 3 things to do. And of course, you can't do 2 or 3 things at one time effectively. Some people think they can multitask, but that's another story. That's another show. But some people try to do 2 or 3, 4 things at one time. Out of those 3 or 4 things, one thing is absolutely more important than the other 3, if you had to triage it. But because people are trying to do 3 or 4 things at one time, they're giving everything equal importance. So what is happening is that they're overestimating those 3 or 4 other things on the list, when actually it's one thing that has more importance than the other. So an example would be, I need to study because I have a test coming up. My friend wants me to meet them at X, Y, Z time, and we're going to hang out for 5 or 6 hours. Because once we get together, it's like the good old days, and we have so much time together. Now, remember, got to study for a test, hanging out with my friend 4 or 5 hours, and socialization is important. And then I need to come home and cook dinner, and I have preparation for the next day. Now, all of these things from the outside looking in seem important. Socialization, I need to study, I need to prep, I need to prepare myself for the next day. All of these things seem important. However, if I don't put a time frame on something and say, listen, I can be with you for an example, 2 hours, and then I need to leave. Thank you. I see someone is watching. Again, if you want to join us, hit the link. If you're on Facebook, the StreamYard link that gives Facebook permission to contact Facebook, and then you can leave a comment, and I could bring you up. Anyway, so you have the scenario, but you don't put any time frames or anything. You're just out and about. So I need to study. I want to socialize. I need to prep, and I need to take care of myself. I need to have some type of structure for my day, because if I do one thing more than the other 2 or 3 things are going to be impacted. So a lot of times what can happen, and you could tell me if you could relate and identify, leave it in the chat, leave it in the comment, that what can happen is either I study for a really long time and I don't meet up with my friend, I prep and I do what I got to do. So that commitment is gone. Or either I study for 5 minutes knowing that I need more time to study, but I put the greater amount of time in socializing with my friend, because I'm not thinking that that 4 and 5 hours is the same time. So we only get 24 hours a day. We got to sleep. We have other responsibilities. So if I'm hanging out for 4 or 5 hours and I'm only giving 15 minutes to my studying, and I have a test to take that's really important, and I need to take care of other things, what got neglected was the studying. Now, if I sat back and I said, wow, I really, really want to see my friend. I know I need to study for my test. I know I got prep work to do, and I have some other things that I need to take care of. Then, how would I manage the day? I don't want to underestimate, and I don't want to overestimate. How would I manage that out? And one way to do that is to be clear on what it is that you're trying to accomplish that day. What is your intention for that day? So I need to study. I want to spend time with my friends. I need to do some things around the house, for example, and I need to prep for the next day. I need to be able to take in consideration, oh, it's going to take me time to get to my friend. It's going to take me time for me to get back to my destination. That's included in the time. How am I going to feel after I been with my friend for 7 hours? Am I going to want to take a nap? Do I need to have some downtime? Do I need to regroup? What is it that I need to do? There's another person on. Thank you for watching and staying. What is it that I need to do? What is it that I need to do? Because I need to take all of these things into consideration. So a good way to do it is say, let me count my travel time. Let me count how much time I'm going to be with the person. How much time do I need to study? Do I need to study before or after I'm with my person, my friend? How long is it going to take me to prep to do X, Y, and Z? What's the earliest and what's the latest? And what's the buffer in between? What's the buffer in between? What do I need to do in between? So normally when I'm scheduling my day, the first thing I do when people ask me, can I do X, Y, and Z? The first thing I do, I pull out my trusty device and I go to my calendar and I say, well, let me take a look at my calendar. Let me see what else I have on my calendar. And then what I put inside of that between one thing and the next thing is buffer space. That's that half an hour, that 15 minutes, that 20 minutes. I put a buffer in between because I don't want to run from one thing into another thing because it's not effective, because there's no downtime in between. And the one thing I learned is that the brain can operate very efficiently if we give it time to buffer, right? If we're not switching back and forth, switching back and forth, switching back and forth from one thing to the next, to the one thing to the next, that if we actually give it time to ramp up and calm down, that we become more effective. So that buffer time is really important. And the coaching question is, what is under or overestimating your time costing you? Is it leaving you stressed out? Is it leaving you overwhelmed? Or are things unaccomplished? Or are things halfway done? I'm doing a little of this, I'm doing a little bit of that, but nothing is completely done. Or because I'm overestimating and underestimating my time, some things are not getting done at all. They keep getting pushed back, back, back down the list of importance. Well, I'll do this tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, well, I'll do it the next day. The next day comes, well, I'll do it next week because I didn't give enough time and consideration to what this thing is going to take. I either overestimated it or I underestimated it. I overestimated my ability to get it done in a timely fashion. I didn't give it enough consideration, or I underestimated it and said, well, it's not going to take that much time. And it winds up taking way more time than what you thought. So when we underestimate or overestimate time and or our ability to get something done, I'm talking about us. I'm not even talking about external factors. I already gave you an example of the external factors. Things that, we don't have any control over. We can find out what happened, try to get it resolved, do the next best thing. But I'm talking about things that I am, you are responsible for, accountable for, which is time management. So the coaching question again is, what is over or underestimating your time costing you? What is it costing you? Again, are there incomplete tasks? Are there things that are not even addressed at all because they're pushed down the road? Are you splitting yourself into 4 and 5 areas and it's leaving you feeling overwhelmed and stressed out? What is it costing you? What is overestimating time and underestimating time costing you? That's the coaching question. I would like to know what that is, what the impact is. So if you could leave it in the comment, be it YouTube, Facebook, what is overestimating, underestimating time costing you? How many things are left undone? How many things are partially done? What is the emotional impact of operating in this manner? And what would it be if you had buffering space in your day and not moving from one thing into the next? How would that change the quality of your life? This has been your Monday Morning Magic. Like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment, and I'll see you next month.